What's good, YouTube? Let's talk Tyler Perry's Mea Culpa as I grease my scalp, okay? I'm gonna get my grease. Alright, so first things first, let's talk about the casting. So for me, when I first saw the trailer and the advertisement for this movie, which was a month ago, because I want to say it was right after the new year I first saw it, I was like, Travante? I got a little crush on Travante. I've been having a crush on him since I first saw him in Moonlight when he was playing Black and he was in that trap house getting his things together to go out in the hood for the day. His body is just, his complexion is what I like, is what I find most attractive in this world. A chocolate brother. So, I don't mean no harm, but it's like every time I see him getting ready to do an interview on somebody's show, when they announce him, when they introduce him and he comes out, he walk with the swag of like, I got quiet power and big D energy. And when he sits, I swear to God, the way he sits in the chair, I just want to straddle him so bad. I know he got a woman, but a girl can just have her fantasy, right? So anyway, I saw him playing in this and Kelly, and I think Kelly is so beautiful. Beautiful complexion as well, like mine. But anyway, I was like, okay, hopefully this is gonna be good. It's not gonna be some BS that Tyler Perry came with us. This how they said Todd came to us with the BS. That's what I thought this was gonna be. I ain't even gonna hold y'all. So I saw that and I was like, okay, I'm gonna check it out. I finally checked it out today, this afternoon. Honestly, I'm gonna say I was looking forward to watching it when it first came on Netflix a couple days ago, but things happened and I wasn't able to watch it that day. And then I started seeing little clips of people talking smack back and forth about they didn't like it. Then I saw some people said they thought it was alright. So I was like, let me go watch it for myself and decide for myself what I think. I can't go off of somebody else's review, so I finally watched it today. And I'm going to say, again, casting. He really got two real-life brothers to play brothers in the show. I mean, in the movie. The two brothers, the Culpa brothers, they are brothers in real life. I recognized the one who played the DA. I think his name was Ray. I recognized him from playing in Run the World on Stars. He was Ella's boyfriend in Run the World Season 1. And he had a little cameo in Season 2. The actress who played Ella, she didn't come back, but he actually had a cameo in Season 2. So, and then the other one who played Kelly Rowland's husband in the movie, he played Cal. I actually recognized him. He was on like the last 2 or so episodes of the last season of Sisters. And then when they came back for this new season, they got another person to play the character that he was playing. I feel like when he played that character on Sisters, him and the actress he was playing opposite of Andy, I felt like they had more chemistry than the guy that's playing the role now with her. But and they got the guy that's playing the role now. He played on the reboot of Queer as Folk. They did a Queer as Folk based in New Orleans. I want to say I watched that last year or maybe the year before. But he played on that. I think he was a medical student or something to do with a doctor, or he dropped out of school or something on there. He was gay on there. But now he playing Andy's love interest on Sisters again. And I didn't like, as far as the casting is concerned, I didn't like in Mea Culpa that you got these two obviously Latino or Hispanic men playing brothers, and their mother is a white woman, a pasty, like real pale skinned white woman. Like that don't even match. Like I feel like they could have made a better casting choice for the mother in this. But anyway, and we also got Shannon Thornton. If you don't know her by that, her government name or her industry name, Shannon Thornton, you'll know her because she played Miss Mississippi in P Valley. M-I, crooked letter I, humpback I. She the one who had the biggest, well, she had the glow up at the Mercedes left, the pink on P Valley. And she got the white boyfriend on there who abuses her on that show. But anyway, so those are the main people that play in this. Let's get to the actual, what the story is about. Now, I went into watching this with visions of the movie Addicted by Zane. It was based on the book by Zane, a book called Addicted by Zane. I'm sitting here remembering when I first saw those books in the bookstore at Walden Books. I was in my early 20s. I was on a date with my then boyfriend who eventually became my ex-husband. And we stopped in the bookstore because I loved books. And I just saw that sitting up by the register, three of her books. And I decided that I wanted to get the Addicted book. I didn't know what it was going to be about. And after I read that, I was like, oh, I want to read all her books. So the trailer for this movie, I was like, oh, this movie going to be similar to Addicted. So I'm already looking at it like this guy, the role that Travante playing, this artist, he gonna be very seductive with Kelly's character, but he gonna be a murderer. Like, he gonna be crazy. That's what I went into watching this thinking. That's what I had in my mind. Preconceived, right? So basically, the brother is a DA. Kelly's the brother of Ray is the DA. Mia's husband was an anesthesiologist who lost his job because he went to work off that liquor, babe. And he smelled it on him. He got let go. He had to go to rehab. But he got his mother and his brother thinking that he's still working. The mother got cancer. Supposedly she on her, like, she not doing too good. The chemo not going good for her. That's what they saying. And how the mother has cancer and has no health insurance, I will never understand. Because we find out the mother didn't have no health insurance. So the brothers are paying for her cancer treatments. They paying her medical bills. But again, Kelly's husband has been fired. So therefore, she's footing the bills. She's a lawyer. She's a criminal attorney. Again, the brother is the DA for Chicago, I'm guessing. So Travante's character, Zaire, is an artist. He met this young lady. He went on a trip to Mexico for inspiration. He met this young lady while he was there. Brought her back. They had a whirlwind romance. He left her in his apartment/studio to go to a gallery to do something. And when he returned, she was gone and the place was a mess. He's been accused of murdering her. And the cops came in, crime scene investigators came in, ransacked this place, took all his electronic items and all that kind of stuff. And they got pictures and stuff like that. And they were saying that, like, the evidence showed blood seeped down to the apartment below him. They found fragments of her brain matter and stuff like that. And one of his paintings, they said, some paintings they took, I don't know. So I'm like, what the hell? So we find out, first of all, they have like a birthday dinner for the mother. It's her birthday. Mea played by Kelly Rowland, shows up to the dinner. And it was a guy in the restaurant that she knew. And I think the restaurant was his restaurant. And he was telling her he had somebody that's looking for a criminal attorney. So she was like, pass them my information, as far as like my number to my office and stuff like that. So she gets to the dinner. She gets inside the restaurant, sees the family. So it's her husband, his brother, the brother's wife, and mind you, the brother's wife is Mia, Kelly Rowland's best friend. So it's two best friends married two brothers. The mother is very nasty, does not like Kelly. Well, Mia's character. She don't like her at all. She actually brings his ex-girlfriend, the husband's ex-girlfriend, around to come to her birthday dinner with them. They go to get seated at their table. She tells Mia, the mother tells Mia, you go ahead and sit down there, because I'm sure you two want to sit down at the end and talking about Mia and her bestie. And she tells the two sons to sit closer to her while she sits at the head of the table. The two sons sit closer to her and tells the Mia husband, Cal, tell his ex-girlfriend, I think her name was Jen, tells her to sit next to him because she's sure them two need to have a conversation. I'm like, what the fuck? Wow. Mind you, earlier that day, Mia went to the office and she had been hearing about this case, and because it's like big, it's been on the news. The reporter's been following Zaire and everything. So she gets to work. She tells her assistant to go look up something for her, and he's like, Jimmy waiting for you. So tell him to tell Jimmy to come in my office. Jimmy comes to her office. Jimmy is her friend and her private investigator, played by Ron Rico. I don't know Ron Rico's last name, but if you're familiar with T and Tamara show Sister Sister, he played Tia's boyfriend on Sister Sister when they were in college. He also played on Survivor's Remorse. He was the cousin / business manager for the cousin that was a basketball player. He's a good actor. Also, he was in Guess Who with Bernie Mac. He worked at the office with Bernie Mac. But anyway, they meet in her office to talk, and he's like, he got some pictures for her from something. He let her know that he got a picture of her husband at a coffee shop with this girl, and she sees the picture and it's Jen. So now she ends up at dinner for the mother-in-law, and Jen is there at that dinner as well. He was like, they was just in the coffee shop. I don't know what they was talking about, but they definitely was in the coffee shop. So she was like, the guy, Zaire, has reached out to me for representation for this murder trial. And we're going to do our own investigation first so I can figure out whether I want to take this case or not. So he like, all right, she said, so I'm going to have you come with me. We're going to see what you think. We're going to both go and see him at some point, but you go do what you got to do right now. So that was the end of that conversation. She ends up again at dinner with her in-laws. So, so after the dinner's over, her and the husband at the dinner, her husband ends up giving his mother a very expensive watch as a birthday gift. And she's like, oh my God, you're the best son. I have such good children. And she like gives Kelly an eye roll or whatever as she's saying this. And when they get in the car, Kelly is like, well, I keep saying Kelly. Mia tells Cal, like, you bought your mother that expensive watch. How did you afford that? And you haven't been working. Like, I want to say it's been close to a year since he's been working. And he was just like, I sold the piano. She was like, you sold our piano? And he was like, that was my piano and I don't even play it anymore. To pay for it. So she was just like she was exasperated. Because it's like, why? She said, why haven't you told them that you're not working no more, that you don't have a job, that you're in rehab? Like, you need to tell them the truth. And so they get home. She sit at the table with a folder of evidence and things from the case with Zaire. And he was like, what are you reading? And he picked it up. He was like, I know you're not taking this case or whatever. And he was like, because you know my brother is actually prosecuting this. She said, I'm just looking at the notes. But honestly, like, we could use this money. I'm footing all the bills. You pick a bill and tell me which bill you finna pay. And then you can tell me what cases I can and cannot take. I was like, whoa. So he walks off. They not doing too well. They've had like some therapy sessions and stuff. And things didn't even go well in the therapy session. So anyway, she goes and she meets with Zaire. She meets him and talks to him at his loft. He goes upstairs on his rooftop and to smoke some weed. He said it relaxes him. She was like, you cannot be seen out in public, number one, and you definitely can't be out in public smoking no weed. And he like, why, basically? And she was like, it's public perception. Like, public perception wins cases sometimes. And the way things look to the public right now, you like, you don't need to be doing this. So he goes back and says, she's telling him, like, reporters show up everywhere that you are. You ain't gonna be able to go out at all like that no more. Not until this thing is over. So she's like, tell me, basically, like, you got to tell me everything about yourself. Can't leave no stone unturned, because it could be the least little thing that might make the difference in this case. So tell me everything. You got to be open with me, and if you want me to be your lawyer, you got to trust me. So he like, okay, cool. So he started telling her he had, like, he came to Chicago. He took his artwork around to several galleries, to different curators, and they all shot him down. He got all of these rejections. Nobody wanted to represent him or work with him. Until he came across this one lady, I forget what her name was, but she's actually played by the lady who played Veronica in The Haves and the Have-Nots. No, I didn't watch Have and Have-Nots. I only watched Ashley Miller's reviews of the Have and Have-Nots after I had came across her interview. I mean, not her interview, her vlog or whatever, about when Tyler Perry flew her out to a party or something. And then I found her to be funny and comical. And so I started watching her reviews, and I enjoyed her reviews of the show. But again, I never watched Have and Have-Nots. Now look how I twisted that, and it still unraveled and became fat again. This hair is irking my soul. Anyway, the lady who played Veronica, she's playing the gallery owner who gave Zaire a chance. So he was saying that, you know, that lady took one look at him and was like, I'll definitely work with you. So it turned into a sexual relationship. She sold some of his artwork, and once he made enough money, he struck out on his own, left her behind, stopped having sex with her and everything. So she got an attitude with him because he cut off the D. That's what he says. Then he says that he has an ex-girl. I think in the evidence, Kelly gets evidence of some report from some ex-girlfriend he used to have, who said that he was a very violent lover. He liked to inflict pain on women and watch pain in your face, and he got off on that. And she was saying, like, she would have to hold her face stoic during their sessions and make it look like she was enjoying it, because if she didn't look like she was enjoying it, he was going to keep doing stuff to inflict more pain on her just to get off. And I was like, ooh. And it was like nipple biting and some other wild stuff that I can't quite remember in the moment. So they have that conversation. And after a while, she gets some evidence that shows that the girlfriend that they saying he murdered, it's a video of her saying, if something happens to me, he did it, he's crazy, and all this stuff like that. And I'm like, what? So where, like, in my mind, I'm thinking, well, where's the evidence of the murder? Like, they saying that they got all this crime scene evidence, but he said when he got home, if I'm not mistaken, he was saying when he got home from the gallery or wherever he went, she was not there at all. So, like, what the hell? So y'all doing all this, and he never even seen the body himself. So I'm like, what the hell? So he shows Kelly a old book that he kept from the girlfriend. She used to like to take selfies. So he had a book, an album full of selfies she took of herself. She was like, they didn't take this as evidence. And he was like, I got my ways, Miss Culpa, or whatever. The whole time he talking to her, his eyes turned down. He looked like I ain't even gonna lie, Tremonte looked like he was high off the ooh-wee this whole movie. His eyes was closed. Oh, he is Asian. Like, his mother is biracial. And so he had those Asian eyes as well, but his eyes were definitely low this entire movie. So I don't know if he was doing it on purpose for the character or whatever, but I don't know. But anyway, they go, Mia and her bestie go for a workout. And Mia admits to the bestie that she might be taking on Zaire as a client. And the bestie is like, wait, no, you can't take him on as a client. And the way she said it, I was just like, wow, like I felt something was off with the way she said it. Not just because her husband was the DA in the case, but it was something else underneath that to me. So what she do, she go home. She go back and tell the husband and the mother-in-law that Mia is thinking about taking this case. So when Mia gets home, the brother-in-law and the mother-in-law is at her house, talking about they came to make dinner. She looking like, what? Since when y'all come over here? Like, because basically, like, looking at the mother, like, you don't even like me. And she never said how the brother felt about it, but I know the mother didn't like her. So they sit at the table. They tell her, come sit down. And he tried to beat around the bush about it. Like, yeah, so what's been going on in your work? How's work been going? She like, it's going fine. Any new cases? And so she looked at the best friend like, what the fuck? And so it comes out that she might be taking this case. He was like, you can't take this case because actually I am the DA and the mother going to step in and say, yeah, and we family. And family can't go against family. And I'm like, but you just told her at your birthday dinner that she ain't good enough for your son, that he should have married the best friend that you brought to the dinner. So what do you... So the brother-in-law was like, look, you're not taking this case. That's just it. And that's final. Because I'm using this case to build my platform so I can run for mayor. It's going to make me look good. I said, oh, that's what you got up your sleeve. Oh, okay. So she was like, well, I didn't know whether I was going to take the case or not, but I think after all of this, yeah, I've made my decision. So in their minds, they feeling like, oh, yeah, so we got to her. She going to do what we say did. The next day, she heads to the office. And she told her secretary that, her assistant, that she's definitely taking the case. She contacts Jimmy because she had sent him to Mexico to try to gather information or background information on the girl, her family or whatever. He went down there. He said he couldn't find nothing. There's no traces of her at all down there. And I'm like, wait, what? So he comes back. Her and Jimmy go, and they have an interview with Zaire. She wants Jimmy because she said he's better than the lie detector specialist and all the body language experts and stuff like that. He got real good intuition about people, whether they're lying or telling the truth. So they go to Zaire's loft and they talk to him. And after the conversation, Jimmy said, all right, well, I'm going to leave. And I'm just like, okay. So Mia follows Jimmy out. And she said, well, what did you think? And the whole time this scene is happening, I'm like, oh, my God, do he got, cameras or anything in the stairwell while y'all talking so he can hear what y'all saying and stuff? Because Zaire was giving very seductive but also narcissistic creep. Like, yeah, if you don't do what I say do, I will murder your ass. Like, I went into it, especially like I said, I went into it in the mind frame like this is going to be a whole lot similar to the movie Addicted, right? Where the girl started sleeping with that artist, and that artist actually had killed his girlfriend, and I think he had killed his mother and his younger brother too. But so yeah. I was nervous for Jimmy. I was like, oh my God. I was thinking that something was going to happen to Jimmy. Because Jimmy was going to find something. Or Jimmy was going to read him too well and he ain't like it. And he was going to kill him. That's what I was thinking. I went into this thinking like he's definitely going to be guilty of doing whatever he did to this girl. So Jimmy was like, you know, I'm really good and I can't get a read on him. And from what I can see, either he's a very good liar or he's a sociopath. She was like, yes, I get the same. Like they were saying the same thing at the same time. Jimmy leaves. She goes back up there and talks with Zaire. And she gave Jimmy the number or the contact info for the gallery owner that Zaire had dealt with before to like interview her. So Jimmy like, okay, cool. So some time goes on. She doing her before time goes on, the brother finds out she actually took the case. She schedules a meeting with the judge in his chambers and was like, she was trying to force Ray, the brother, to recuse himself from the case since they siblings. But the judge was like, no, I'm not going to make him recuse himself. I'm going to go ahead and let y'all do this. If y'all can play fair in the courtroom and not have no extra stuff, I'm going to let y'all do it. So they like, all right, we both going to do this case. So the mother-in-law is still mad about her taking this case on, cussing out, doing little slick stuff. So she's coming to know more about Zaire. So there's a scene where they're in his place and he tells her, like, he's trying to force her to say that she's attracted to him because he's excellent at reading body language. And she won't admit it. He was like, even tried to use the fact of, you want me to trust you? I got my life in your hands and you can't even be honest with me and tell me that you're attracted to me. And I'm like, oh God. He was like, you know what? I need to go out and dance. She like, you can't leave. I told you cannot leave this house. And he was like, who said I was leaving the house? So they go down the stairwell and go down in the bottom on the other side of the building. First of all, his loft looked like it was just by itself, like a garage or something. Didn't realize it was other units in there. But they go down and it's like a sex club down in there. It's all red and everything. He disappears from her line of sight into the sex party and she's looking around and it's all kinds of shit going on in that party. She's just standing there, immersing herself in it, being a voyeur until this guy comes up to her and asks her, do she want to do something together? And that's her cue to get the hell up out of there. So she leaves up out of there and she goes home. Matter of fact, when Zaire blew up at her, he told her he didn't want her as his lawyer if she couldn't, be open and honest enough to say that she was attracted to him. So she goes home. She gets a phone call from him the next day, apologizing and stuff like that. So she goes back over there to have another conversation with him. And he telling her how he's attracted to her. He thinks she's beautiful. He look forward to seeing her when she come over there to talk about the case and all that stuff. He actually comes close into her and motions like he was going to try to hold her and kiss her. She's like, no. She was like, I gotta go. It's time I'm about to miss my train because she takes a commuter train into the city. They live far out in the suburbs. So he was like, I can drive you to the commuter, like I could take you to the train. So they go down the elevator. She got this pretty skirt on, straight pencil skirt. And he was about to put her on the bike. He was like, hike your skirt up and you can sit on this bike sideways, saddle or whatever. She was like, absolutely not. She was like, matter of fact, there goes my ride right there. And that was only 30 seconds later. I was like, Tyler, where's your sense of time? The lady just pulled her phone out and then would say my ride right there. We never saw her say, let me, go and try to get a ride share to take me to the train station. I was just like, ah. So the whole time on the way home on that train, she thinking of and replaying the things he said to her in her head and everything like that. And things that she saw in that sex club and all that stuff too. She gets home and we see a scene of her and her husband getting it on. And he was giving her the basic, we've been together for a while, we've been married for a while, basic husband pumps. It looked like 2 pumps in the dump, and that was it. And you can tell she's so dissatisfied, like, that's it. And I know in her mind she think like, dang, if I could just, like, with the sex appeal that Zaire oozes, I know she got in her mind like, dang, that would be good. I mean, because Zaire he really was reading her. He was all in her head about what she got going on at home. And I forgot to mention, he actually sat her down in front of the canvas and was like, close your eyes. What's your favorite color? She said blue. He put a paintbrush in her hand, dipped it in some paint, told her to close her eyes, and he got her hand on the canvas to paint. And she opened her eyes, and he like, we painting blue waves and stuff. And he was like, and what about some red? So he just randomly put red marks all over the canvas as well. And then we don't get to see what the finished product is. So anyway, she wakes up in the morning from after having sex with her husband, gets straight up, goes to the office. This day they go to the office. She's wearing jeans. She get a phone call from the assistant saying, come to the lobby. She go out to the lobby. It's her husband. He like, you rushed off so fast this morning, babe. I really want to try. I love you, and I want our marriage to work. Let's go to counseling. I'm willing to go back to counseling, and let's go to dinner tonight to talk about everything. And he brought her some flowers too. And she's standing there talking to her husband, and up walks Zaire up behind her, placing his hand on the small of her back while she's standing there having a conversation with her husband. I said, you are a audacious bastard. And he tried to put his hand out to shake the husband's hand. And the husband gave him the look like, I don't need to shake your hand. And he kissed his wife and glares at Zaire and leaves. Because he said something like, the husband was like, we don't need no introductions are necessary. And I was just like, that was an odd reaction. Okay. Next thing you know, she was like, Zaire, what are you doing? Like, you can't come up to me and put your hand on the small of my back. That don't look appropriate. And then we in my office. And then my husband was right there. He was like, I ain't like the way you left yesterday and all this and that. She was like, well, come on so we can have a chat. He was like, I don't feel comfortable here. You need to come back to my loft. He was like, this place is full of people that's tight and uptight. I don't feel free to express myself in this place. Come to my loft. And he was like, and by the way, I like the jeans because she wore jeans that day. We don't know if she went to the office full time or just grabbed her things and left. Because by the time she gets to Zaire's, it's dark. And then she gets there, she goes in, they having a conversation. Then this white girl come walking in. She takes off a jacket and she ain't got nothing on but some underwears and probably some pumps. And he told her to go up the steps and wait for him there. He about to be finished with her. And she was telling him, Mia was telling Zaire she was trying to create some boundaries. Like he had crossed the line the night before. So, he go up to the loft where his bed is at. And the girl go down and put her face in the place. I'm like, oh. So, when Mia sees this, she was like, she grabs her things and go to head out. She go to get on the elevator. She keep turning the knob and flipping the switch, and the elevator won't move. And she looking at Zaire's face, and he looking at her, like, as if to say, yeah, look. Like he trying to see if what he's doing is bothering her, if she's bothered by what she see in front of her. And it took him a while. He kept looking at her and looking at her. And then he finally flipped the switch from where he was, unlocked the switch so that she can go down in the elevator and leave. So she go down the elevator and she calls Jimmy, or she get a phone call from Jimmy. And he like, how's your day going? She was like, it's been a day. He like, what's wrong? I can hear something wrong in your voice. Like, tell me. You know I'm your friend. And he was like, did you see the picture I sent you? Is that what it is? She was like, what? She checked her phone. It's a photo of her husband and that ex of his going into a hotel room at some hotel called the Winston, room 714. So that she was like, oh shit. He was like, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, Mia, I'm sorry. The last time I took pictures of him, he was still going to rehab and doing his meetings. Like, I'm so sorry, I don't know what this is. So she hung up with him and she goes back upstairs into the loft. As she's coming into the loft, the vantage point we get is from Zaire looking at her coming back in the loft. He upside down because he's laying down with the top of his head facing the floor. And the young lady is on top of him, going for a ride. That's what we'll say. He kind of shoos her away when Mia's coming back in. So she gets her coat and she leaves. He gets up, comes up to Mia, comes close to her and kisses her. And she accepts it, kiss him back for a second. And then she thought about what she was doing and pushed him off. Like, I can't do it, I can't do it. So he walks away from her and goes and put his pants on. Ain't wash himself off or nothing. Just put his pants on, throw a coat to her, a moto jacket to her, and they go get on the back of his bike. Now that moto jacket he threw to her was supposed to be one of his. But when we see her on the back of the bike, she's way smaller than him. Why the moto jacket fit her, like, perfectly? Because they didn't put a women's jacket on her. And this saying, like, you gotta be consistent, Tyler. You're gonna give her a men's jacket in this scene, but then when we see them on the bikes, she got a women's jacket on. Where's the consistency? They go for a ride, come back to, I thought they came back to his place, to the loft. He turns on some music, lights some candles. He actually put a vinyl record on a record player. That's what he actually did. Oh, that makes you feel so grown and sexy when you're putting vinyl records on a record player and listening to music. It's a different sound. It's a different vibe. But anyway, he puts down, I guess they call it a drop cloth. He puts down a drop cloth. Next thing you know, they take their clothes off and them two brown bodies is on camera. Looking so good. He pours some paint on her. And even though I know this is some messy-ish paint on your body, I was like, ooh, if Trevante wanted to do that to me, I would be letting him put that paint on me too. I want paint on my body too with you, Trevante. The passion, the thrust, the grinds. He was giving her the D of her life. He was giving her hobosexual D. And a hobosexual is somebody who screws real good because they depending on you to give them a place to live and feed them and stuff. They like screw real good. That's the only thing they could do good is screw. And that's what it was giving. He was giving her a hobosexual screw. Like, even though he got his own stuff, but he was screwing her like, he was screwing her into submission, y'all. That's what he was doing. That's what he was doing. And it looked damn good, too. It did. It really looked good. I would... That's all I got. Anyway, that they land in the afterglow. The position they land in the afterglow instantly made me think about the blue people that Angela painted, and that was Halle Berry's character in Boomerang when she painted the blue people for that fragrance bottle, and it was on the side of the bus on the movie Boomerang. That's what they looked like when they was laying in the afterglow. So then we see her open her eyes and wake up, and when she wake up, she in his bed, and hanging over the canopy of the bed in the ceiling is a painting he did of her, and she was just like, and then she realized what time it was. She had to hurry up and get her ass in that office. So she gets up and goes to the office. When she get there, her bestie / sister-in-law is there, and her husband like, we've been calling you all night. Where have you been? You didn't come home. And it was like, she was like, I stayed so late. I just got a room somewhere and stayed in the city, and I just got here. The husband like, whatever. And so they was like, they stayed in the city as well because the mother was so sick. They were so worried. They wanted to stay close by to the hospital where she getting the treatments. She said, well, what hotel was that? And they was like, because we was all there at the hotel trying to get in touch with you to let you know. She said, what hotel? They said the Winston. She said, what's the room number? They said 714. So now she instantly feels like ish because she went back in there and she screwed Zaire out of anger because she thought that her husband was screwing with that girl in that hotel. And now she done found out they was in the hotel room with the mama all night. And that was the mama's hotel room. She feel like a piece of ish. The husband leaves the hospital. She ends up telling Zaire she can no longer come and see him at his loft. She need to create some boundaries. She ain't gonna see him no more. Actually, she tells him she can't do his case no more. So she end up going. She get a phone call from Jimmy. She told Jimmy he messed up and that the family was at the hotel with the mother. He feels so bad because he like, dang, I'm so sorry. I had no idea. I never saw the mother. He was like, but that gallery owner, she don't want to talk to me. She wants to talk to you. She wants you to come to her gallery and have a conversation. So Mia heads to the gallery to have the conversation. And there's protesters outside of the gallery. So she goes in and have the conversation with the lady. And again, it's the lady that played Veronica on the Haves and Have-Nots. And basically, from what Ashley described on her channel, she's basically acting the same way she acted as the Veronica character. She's giving the same zhuzh. But she was like, you know, have you screwed him yet? Because that's what he do. That's what he does. And she was like, no. She was like, I see it all on you. She was like, is he a violent man? And the gallery owner, because I can't remember her name, she was just like, I think her name might have been Rita. She was like, he is a snake, a seductor. And snakes don't bite or get violent until you are in striking distance. So she was like, did you ever get in striking distance with him? That's when Mia asked Rita. And Miss Rita was like, no, I never did. I took on his work. We did screw around some. And he got in my head. And when he got finished with me, he left my old ass alone. And she said, She said he left me alone. He went on about his business. He left me high and dry. She was like, you need to look further into it. So when she described how they first did what they did, she was like, this Miss Rita talking. I think that was her name. She said, listen, he told me to close my eyes. He set me in front of a canvas. He said, what's your favorite color? I said, blue. He said, we're going to just paint some blue waves. Then he put some red lines on there. And I never saw the painting again until after we had sex. And I look up, and it's a painting of me on a blue, on the canopy of his bed on the ceiling. I open my eyes, and it's me there. And he had finished the painting that we started. And he painted me. She was like, look deeper, little girl. I'm just trying to warn you. Look deeper. It's a whole lot of things beneath the surface. So that made Mia sick. She leaves the gallery, gets outside to the next building. It's like a little space in between the gallery and the next building. She doubles over, catch her breath. She just like, she outdone. I done screwed up my marriage. I done F this man. Now I can't do the case anymore. I gotta recuse myself from the case because I done screwed the client. And he done used me. Like, what the fuck? So she goes to his place. He's so comfortable with her. He think he got her. He think he done did her down so good that he could just do whatever. So he painting or doing something. She walks past him, goes up into the loft, and sees her painting still up there. She starts peeling back the layers. It's all these different women. She peeling back and peeling back. He like, what you doing? And the moment she peels back to the painting of the girlfriend that he supposedly murdered, it says, F-U-B, you ruined my life, you be, on the painting. He's like, it's not what you think. It's not what you think. I didn't kill her. It's not what you think. She like, I can't do this. She leaves this place. She calls the judge, recruits herself from the case. She says that he need to get another lawyer. So they're going to find him a new lawyer. She gets in the car with her husband. They on their way to the mother's or the brother's house out in the boondocks. And they in the car. They get to the place. And the brother and the mother looking at her sideways as usual. And the brother is baiting her. And basically, like, what's going on at work, Mea? Is something you want to tell us, Mea? And because, of course, he already knows that she recused herself from the case. And said the reason is because of inappropriate relationship between her and the client. I would have lied. To be honest with y'all, I would have told a lie. But the husband was like, is this true, Mea? She said, yes. And he was like, did you fuck him? She was like, yes. I would have been like, no, he came on to me, and I don't feel comfortable around him no more. You saw what he did in the office with me and you. How he came up behind me and put his hand on the small of my back and stuff. That's what I would have said. I would have covered myself. I wouldn't have admitted that I was lying. So that I did that. So they start arguing. Everybody starts yelling. Her best friend tries to speak up for her, and the husband was like, you shut up. I was like, wow. I said, he talked to you like that all the time. And he probably putting hands on you too. Keep that in mind. So next thing you know, we see Mea. She at the little bar at a resort in a tropical location. It's on the news that Zaire is going to take a deal. And the DA is coming up with the terms of the deal. And Zaire is just going to sign it and say that he actually did murder the girl. I'm like, this how this movie going to end? Like, what the freak, right? Next thing you know, Mea gets up. She goes on a job. Now, Tyler, this is where I got another issue with you. How is it this girl is on a tropical island, which means she's below the equator, which means it's hot? Why is she jogging on the beach with long sleeve crew neck top and long sleeve and long leggings, like to the ankle leggings, and she jogging in tropical weather below the equator? Because at the moment we still don't know what island she on. So as she's walking, she finished her jog. She walking past the pool area. Meanwhile, there's people walking around in bathing suits and half naked. And she got on a long sleeve top and long pants, working out like BS. Tyler, you needs to do better. But anyway, she passed by a housekeeper, and they kind of like bumped. The housekeeper says, "Excuse me," and she was like, "Oh, I'm sorry." And then that's when she was like, "Wait." And she turned. She was like, "Heidi." It's the woman he supposedly murdered. She was like, "Come back." The lady took off running. She chased behind the woman, get her on the side of some rooms. It's a cart right there. The housekeeping cart is right there. She puts the cart between them to block her from catching her. And Mea tries to pull out her phone to call or take a picture. I don't know. But Heidi ends up picking up something off the cart, spraying it in Mea's face, and throwing the cart on top of Mea when Mea falls to the ground. I said, oh, God. So we see Mea go to the police on the island, come out of the police station, call Jimmy, and was like, I just seen her. She in the Dominican Republic. He was like, what are you doing there? She was like, yeah, I just got on the plane. After I had it out with my husband and his family, I got on the plane and just left town. I need to declare my hair. He like, all right, I'm about to book a flight right there, right now, so I can come and find her. She said, all right, thanks, because she don't know where the woman went. And this was going to clear Zaya's name. For some reason, she calls the best friend and asks the best friend to put her husband right on the phone. Why? These people don't give a crap about you. Like, this family don't like you, girl. Why you gonna call them and get them the help? Like, what the hell? So she called the brother and was like, listen, I just saw that girl. He couldn't have killed that girl. He is innocent. This girl was walking down here in the Dominican Republic at this resort I'm at. She was working as a waitress. He like, come back home right now so we can work this out. Come back home. And I'm gonna send one of my peoples down there to investigate what you said, to see if it's true that she really is down there. And she like, all right. I'm like, girl, you trust him? You believe he really wants to send somebody? Come on, like you gotta be smarter than that. She does go home and goes out to his house, to Ray's house. She gets there. The best friend, Ray, and the mother is there. She's like, she come in the house. She like, where's Cal? He like, Cal in the city. He had to go do something. He gonna come. He on his way. She like, all right, good. So she was like, so did you really call somebody and get somebody to go down there and investigate? And he was just like, yeah, we got somebody. She was like, and with Cal, he was like, he on his way. It was that same repetitive dialogue thing that Tyler like to always do. They keep saying the same shit over and over again to make the scene longer. So for some odd reason, she goes into a closet. The light in the closet is red. It's giving the same vibes as that little sex club that was at the bottom of Zaya's building. She go in there. While she find a painting, she peel back the layers of the picture of the painting. And up comes the best friend's photo. The best friend that fucked Zaya too some time ago. She hurries up and put it down, comes up out that closet, standing in the kitchen, still talking to them. And she's like, it's been a minute. Like, how far out is Kyle? Oh, he coming. He coming. So she gets a phone call. She said, excuse me, I gotta take this. She goes into the front room where nobody else is. And she's talking to Jimmy. Jimmy said, I sent you an email. Please check it right now. She checks the email, is like, and this, I was looking down when this happened, so I'm not sure if it showed it, so I gotta go back and look at the movie again. But I wasn't looking at the screen when this part happened, so she looked down, she sees something in the email. She go back into the kitchen. The mother said, oh, help me over to the counter, dear. This chemo gets me so weak sometimes. And she comes into her to get help. She makes sure to bump me and knock her phone down on the floor, and then bend down like she's trying to pick the phone up and puts her knee on top of it, breaking the phone. And then picks it up and said, oh, I'm sorry I broke your phone. I said, bitch, you ain't slick. You did that on purpose. Wait, and nobody in this kitchen is dumb. So the bestie is like, here, man, help us prepare dinner. So she passed her some peppers or something, or tomatoes, and a knife, a butcher knife. And the mother was like, what are you doing? Don't give her that. I'll prepare. I'll cut the veggies. And then the husband comes back with a drink and was like, drink your drink, Mia. Drink your wine. And I'm thinking to myself, you better not drink that motherfucking wine. You better not drink that wine. She ain't never drink it. That's when she said, check your email, Ray. Because she thinks she said, Jimmy sent you something. Check your email. He checks his email. He sees it. He said, oh, mother, you lied about your cancer. You don't have cancer. And he's bring his face up and they started laughing. And she looked like, Mia looking like, what the fuck I walked into? He was like, we know she don't have cancer. We made that whole thing up for sympathy. For sympathy votes. She like, what the freak? So when he said that, she's like, and you didn't send nobody down there to look for Heidi either, did you? Because Zaire slept with whatever the best friend's name, because she saw the picture, right? She said this was all a setup from the beginning. And she was like, and why doesn't Cal know about this? And they was like, because Cal can't be trusted. He won't do what need to be done, or something they said. So that's when the mother-in-law told Mia's best friend, take that knife here, stab her. And I'm like, girl, you gonna stab your homegirl for them? Like the husband treat you like crap? Because I can tell by the way he yelled at you in the other scene. Like, You gonna stab Mia? She picked that knife up like this. Mia is in front of her this way. The mother-in-law is behind her. And she did like this, like she was going to do this. But she said, whoosh, and went to go stab the mother-in-law. But the mother-in-law caught it. And they got to tussling. And she knocked her down. And then Mia and the mother-in-law start to fight. And Mia and the mother-in-law start to fight. The husband Ray jumps in and all that kind of stuff. What ends up happening is Mia tries to get out of the house. The best friend ends up like, here, take these keys. Get out of here. Run, Mia, run. I'm like, oh my God, the mother-in-law, when she said run, Mia, run, and turn back around, the mother-in-law right there stabs her in the chest. Mia gets out the door. The brother-in-law comes out the door chasing behind her. He kicks her in the back. She tries to get in the SUV. He opened the door, get her out of the SUV. She runs, she gets into a pickup truck. She gets into the pickup truck. The mother is at the hood of the front hood of the pickup truck. He on the side door trying to pull it open. She put that truck in gear and pulls off with the mother swinging on the hood. Crashed that into a tree on the side of the road. The mother come rolling down the ravine of the woods or whatever. I'm like, okay, so did she survive or she did? The brother-in-law, he's somewhere on the land. We don't know if he did or not either. Men take off running down the road. They're like, help, somebody help me. A car come up, we see some headlights. They stop. It's actually Cal. And she like, call 911. They just tried to kill me. Call 911. He like, get in the car. So she hurried to get in the car. And they driving in the direction to go back to the house. I'm like, Mia, don't you see what he doing? He has had to be a part of this. Because why is he driving you towards the house? And you just said they tried to kill me. So she said, call 911. So he on the phone. He like, yeah, can you send police ambulance to... And he gave the address of the house. And then that's when he hung up. She realized he driving towards the house. She like, why are you driving towards the house? So then he get a phone call. And he said, 911 calling me back. So he talked for a few minutes. And she hurried up and pressed the Bluetooth button so she could hear what's being said on the other line in the car. And it's the brother. And he like, you bringing it back? He like, yeah. I said, you motherfucker. You knew the whole time. And that's when he turns to her and he was like, yeah, I knew the whole time. It was all a plan and you just had to come in and screw up our plan or whatever. My mother told me. No, he was like, Ray told me I should start hitting you. And I said, no, I can do what I need to do with her by being nice. But you wouldn't let me be a nice guy. She said, yeah, because you a bitch. You ain't no man. You ain't no real man. He smacked the crap out of her, laid her out for a split second. She came to. She did some maneuver to take the seatbelt off. I couldn't remember if it was hers or his seatbelt that she unlocked, but it was a 18-wheeler coming down the opposite side of the road. She took and turned the wheel so they can crash into the 18-wheeler, which they did, but the 18-wheeler only hit his side of the car. She rolled out of the car, it looks like, and her life was saved, and I'm guessing he died because they showed him laying on the road like, so I'm like, okay, he died. Next thing we see, Zaire getting released. Reporters out there asking him how he feel about getting released and being found innocent and knowing he didn't kill that girl and all that stuff like that. And he was like, it feels great. He got proven innocent, and he couldn't have did it without the help of his attorney, Mea Harper, because that was her maiden name, Mea Harper. And he was like, and I thank her so much because she saved my life. And he goes to get in the SUV or the black car that was picking him up. That happened Mia down the street around the corner watching it from afar. She got her black scarf around her face and her black glasses on, giving Mary J. Blige in a Not Gonna Cry video. And in this moment, we hear Isaac Hayes' Walk On By music start playing, the same part of the song that plays at the end of Dead Presidents. When you say goodbye, walk on by. It's like a somber type of sound. But she has a phone in her hand and she gets a text from Zaire. He tells her, thank you so much. I owe you. I hope one day I can see you soon. And she read the message and she just threw the phone in the garbage and the movie goes off. My whole thing is, wow, what a twist, Tyler. That was a nice little twist that you put in that movie. Because like I said, I went into it just assuming that he was going to be guilty. But he was not guilty of murder. But he definitely was guilty of using sex to control women. That's what he was doing. To control women and to get women to do what it is that he wanted them to do. He definitely was a womanizer and used sex to get those things done. The mother was crazy with her white pasty self. Like, how can you cast two Hispanic / Latino looking men, like very, very, like you can see it on them, and cast them to be sons of this white, pasty, pale skinned woman with red hair? How they gonna be her sons? Was they supposed to be given biracial sons? I don't know no biracial boys that look like that. And I got one in my own family. Well, I got a few in my family. And none of them look like that. And when I say biracial, I got a sister. Well, my sister is Japanese and black. Her mom's Japanese. But she just looked like my dad, but with the complexion of a Japanese person. I got a little cousin. His mom's white and his dad is black. A light-skinned black man. So my cousin, he looks like the white version of his father. He looks white. Then I got another cousin that married a Hawaiian girl, and they have kids, and those kids all look Hawaiian. They don't look black at all. So, like, this casting just didn't make sense for me. It just does not make sense. But what did y'all think of the movie? Did it end the way that y'all thought it was going to end? Did y'all enjoy that sex scene? Did you feel like the movie was good or bad? What did you rate it if you watched it? Also, was it the twist you thought it was going to be? What did you think of the acting? Like, as far as Trevante and Kelly? Or do you think that the writing was not up to their caliber of acting? Because Kelly's done better jobs than this, and we know Trevante has done better work than this. Y'all let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Also, I say this in my review, but that sex scene with Kelly and Trevante, girl, you had sex with him and you didn't even make sure he washed his dingling off. Like, he had sex with the other girl. He just put them pants on. When you see him wash it, like, what you doing, girl? Yeah, it's a mixed mashing hodgepodge of bodily fluids. That's nasty. And bodily fluids mixed with whatever dye was in them pants he put on, because he sure put them pants on with no underwears. Girl. Ooh, germs. And with that, I'm gone, y'all. See y'all.